we're going to set up the dimension styles in your Layout A title block. So open up your Layout A, and then we're going to go into Dimension Style Manager. And there are 3 ways to get to Dimension Style. You can go to the top pull-down menu to Format, then go to Dimension Style. You can go to the Dimension pull-down, Dimension Style, or you can go to the Annotate tab, and next to the word dimension, this tiny little arrow, that is also Dimension Style. So however you would like to get to it, open up the Dimension Style Manager. When you open Dimension Style Manager, you already have 2 styles. So this annotative style, we're going to delete this style out because we really don't need it at all. So right mouse click on top of the word annotative and click delete. Are you sure you want to delete it? Yes. Now for our standard, we're going to right mouse click and we're going to rename this, and I want you to name it decimals. I'm going to name this the decimals style. So once you rename it, just click off of it. And now we're going to modify this current style. When you click modify, it's going to put you in a pretty large dialog box with lots of tabs. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the tabs and see what we need to change to make it work for us in our classroom. The Lines tab, we don't need to touch anything. It is already set to our ANSI standards, which is our American National Standard Institute standards. So we don't have to touch anything on the Lines tab. Click Symbols and Arrows. Depending on your industry, you may use a different type of symbol. We use a standard arrowhead to show our dimensions, but if you click open this option, you see you have all different styles, and these are industry specific. So if you're using architecture, you'll use an architectural tick. I've seen some use a dot. So we're going to use a closed field. So we're going to leave these all closed field arrowheads, and our leader is a closed field arrowhead as well. Now we're going to change the arrow size. The arrow size needs to be 0.125. So 1/8 of an inch is our arrow size. Under center marks, you can see a preview here. Every time we change something, this changes. If we set this to line, notice it now places a large center line in that circle. What's going to happen if we leave this, when we draw, we make our own center lines. So if we have our own center lines and then dimension, it's going to put center lines on top of the center lines we've already drawn. The dashes will never match up, so it's going to look like a solid line. So we're actually going to change center marks to none. We want none on that. Next, click Text. Our standard text, we have changed this to Romans. So let's just double check. Click these 3 little dots. Our text style is Romans with a height of 0.125, so you can just cancel right out of that. We just always double check to make sure it's what we think it is. Now, the alignment of our dimensions, this is the horizontal alignment, or as our book uses the term unidirectional. You can read it in one direction. It's all upright. If you click Aligned with Dimension Line, notice the numbers change depending on where it's placed on the part. Click ISO Standard. It's a type of align dimension, but the radius looks a little better when we place our dimensions. So we're going to leave that as ISO Standard. The Fit tab, nothing needs to be taking place here. It's fine. Everything is set. Go to Primary Units. Right now we're in decimal units, and that's what we want for this decimal style. Most of our drawings have a precision of 2 decimal places. There are a few that we will go in and modify this and change it to 3 decimal places, but 90% of our drawings it's 2 decimal places. So let's change our precision to 2 decimal places. So on the Symbols and Arrows tab, we change the arrow size to 0.125. We changed center marks to none. On the Text tab, we changed our alignment to ISO standard. And in Primary Units, we changed our precision to 2 decimal places. Tell this OK. And now we have the decimals style. We need to add a new style because we use decimals and fractions. So click New. And now we're going to name this Fractions. And we're going to say start with decimals because we've already set the text, we've already set the arrow sizes. So once you call this fractions, tell it continue. It's going to put us in our dialog box. Let's go back through and check our tabs. Everything's still set except for primary units. You need to drop open where it says decimal and pick fractional. Go to the precision and pull it all the way down to 1/256. Fractional 1/256. Tell that OK. And fractions is what we want to set current because our first drawings, they may be in fractions or decimals. So we'll just see which our drawing is. But right now let's change it to fractions. Click Set Current and close. Make sure you save. Now on the Annotate tab, when you're using your dimensions, right here tells you which style you're using. So if I click Linear and I put a dimension from one side to the other, it's in fraction. If I open this up and I select Decimal and click Linear, there's my decimal dimension. So whatever style is current is what you'll be using when you dimension. So make sure you always check this and match it up with however your drawing is dimensioned. So make sure you save that dimension style in your Layout A. So as soon as we rename this, it will always be in your layout.